How's everybody doing? I haven't shot a video for a while because we've been crazy busy. A lot of progress. I think I showed everybody final house colors. You'll also see that painters have been going crazy. Not going crazy, doing their job and caulking everything and getting it ready to go. They haven't really actually touched anything on the front. This was all stuff we did except for the caulking. So they've got it prepped. And on the sides and the front, you can see that the cream color is now all the way up. And on this return, around the windows, and it's looking fantastic. I still gotta take the tape off of that window. But you can see it looks great. It really blends in nice with the mortar color between the bricks. And that is supposed to kind of yellow in time because it is a sand lime mix. So it's kind of like an antique version. So what I'm saying is I think that color will continue to get even more complimentary. I think it's really nice. Now they've done the same thing on the other side. They're going around. You can see that the trim is done here. This is just one coat. They're going to do 2 coats on all the paint, the trim. Windows are slow, so they're going to do them first. They're going to be painting that trim up there and the metal and the skirt. And I think they've gotten this one done too. Now they're on the back right now, so I won't interrupt them. But next week I think they're going to be spraying body color, 1 coat at a stretch, but there's a lot of other things going on too. This is our dry well. It is going to actually go in the back for our sump pump, which has remained bone dry, even though we've had some heavy rains, and we don't have gutters yet or anything else to put it all away. We have a septic tank. We upgraded to a 2,500 gallon tank, and per code in our area that will allow us to put a garbage disposal in. Not sure if we're going to, but it's nice to have the option long term to think about it. Also, it's like a really big house, and they do it based on bedrooms, not on bathrooms, but we got a lot of bathrooms. We got a lot going on in the kitchen, dual dishwashers. There are worse things than having a tank a little bigger than you expect. But that is in. The excavator's out there, and we have an open corner here. We took those trees out that we had been talking about, including that huge oak had been right about there. Let's take a look at that real quick. I think you can see it. You can see all the brush. And this is where the septic is going to go-ish. So they had us way up here at the top, basically at the top of the yellow. So building this up that much, and that really doesn't make any sense. They also have us like into that outcropping right over here, which would be like a bear to get through. So the excavator knows the company who did the design and is asking them, can't we just kick it out just 5 feet? You know, if it's where those stumps are, that'll work fine. And we can go all the way down, and we can shoot it much further down, so we can be basically where they are down there and let this hill do what it's always done. So we wouldn't have to bring in any more fill. In fact, we might be able to use some of that up here. So that's ideal. It would save a lot of money. It would tuck this down. It would be less disruptive in general. All of this stuff gets cleaned up. The stumps and things are getting hauled away, but you can see the huge oak out there. It was hollow in the middle, by the way. There's the stump. And yeah, it had maybe a 1-foot hole in the center there. But by the time you got about 10 feet up, it was mostly hollow. So it was a really good thing we took it out, as it turns out, because it would have fallen and destroyed this septic. So we were not able to do a pipe and stone. I think I mentioned before, that is what we've got, these kind of like, I don't know, dome-shaped things. But they're going to function essentially the same way. The good news is it's not the tube with the sock or anything. There's no sock involved. There's a mat that grows on the base. These are like interlocking. So this is one piece there. You can see it wiggling. So that sits on sand, I believe, on top of the stone, or stone on top of the sand. I don't know. Anyway, it all runs through, drains out, creates a mat. Like a typical septic system, it behaves exactly like a pipe and stone, basically. So, but for whatever reason, they give it a rating that we can put it closer to the water table, which was an issue for us. So, distribution box here, some of the pipe that needs to get laid. But really, I want to take you inside because the first floor is just about done from a trim perspective. And hope the wind isn't too bad right now. I can hear it whipping. Hopefully you cannot. We'll go inside and take a tour. So, boom, first thing. So these were reclaimed doors out of the house. They're a little funky because they're not a matched pair. The one on the left is a couple inches smaller than the one on the right. But I didn't have two that would work that were the same size and would fit the opening. It's a 5-foot opening, and we had like doors that were too big or doors that were too small. But if you combine them, it worked great. So it's a little quirky, but I like it. So this is going to be our laundry. The big door will be where the dryer is because you're more likely to have to like open things up. And we like a top loader for the washing machine on this side as well. So that'll be working out good. So there's no hardware on here. We're going to put the handles on, old handles, original. And then we're going to just do concealed magnetic hinges that kind of go into the jamb in the top of the door. And then they'll just kind of latch, but without that click of a like a typical cabinet latch or magnetic. There's no metal plate involved. It's just magnet on magnet. Another great shot. Now this door was the original exterior door right here. Now it's our pantry door. We've got original hardware on it. It will have the same thing, magnetic latch up top. Still got to put door stop in here. But yeah, it looks fantastic. We're gonna clean it up on the inside and on the edges, but we're gonna leave it, obviously. The coolness is the aesthetic here. Probably just brush it or blow it with air and get a couple of thin coats of a matte poly or something on it to protect it. But that's it. And we love this. I think that's gonna be about the color of the floors as well. So it'll work fantastic. Trim is almost done. I said 90% done because we still got to throw the aprons in here. That was, let me look at the trim and I'll show you what's going on. So the jamb extensions were all kind of custom. We ended up making them out of plywood because we've got no reveal here on the edge. This is how it originally was done. This bead came straight off of the return. And then we got the bead. So we saved some money by using plywood here. Also saved some space because these windows kind of take up some space as they swing out. And that was good. And then we glued these flat stock pieces to the jambs and nailed them all over the place. So that'll need to get sanded out and everything, but you can see it's just tight as can be all the way up. And then we did this really cool kind of historically correct detail where you mitered the beads, but the joints. You can see that's what we did everywhere. These are some of the worst ones, I can tell you, because they're exceptional all over the house. It's too bad I'm showing these two off, but that'll get filled. But instead of just having a miter come through all of this stuff and allowing it to separate, changing the directions a couple of times, and this band material is glued onto the face of this material. So it's all tied together really well. None of these joints are going to open up. So after, this is caulked and puttied and painted and primed, we're not going to get cracks and ugliness. This is a tough one to look at, but you can see this is really thin. So this first piece, you just see a shadow line here. That is a 1/4 inch flat stock board. Then it's, I think it's 11/16 of this band material, which is the custom knife we had reproduced. This is what was originally in the house around all the windows and doors, inside and out. So this is the same stuff we used on the outside windows. A little bit different treatment. And the sills we opted to go with a poplar, a little bit better. It'll hold up a little bit better on the windowsill because those sills probably will get a little more bang around. So on the underside, the reason we're not doing that, so what it's going to be is a bead board just like this, really. One corner, one edge beaded, and that beaded edge goes down low. So it'll be just flat stock with a bead on the bottom, basically. But it needed to be a full 3/4 so that there's some substance under the sill to support it, because right now it hangs over, I don't know, to there on my hand, a good 2 inches probably. So that'll just give it a little bit more support and trim this whole thing out. So, but for those aprons down here, all the trim is done. You can see the trim on the exterior doors looks great. It'll look even better when they get painted out to match this, color, this interior trim color. But all of these come all the way down, kind of as a unit. So we're gonna paint this trim color as well and treat it like a recessed panel, basically. It's a good clean edge here. This is basically a very similar thing to what we did at our previous home. My dad did, actually, in Natick for some sliders. These came all the way together in that case, but he had to kind of do some fancy cuts to make this all blend in nice, and I am thrilled with how it turned out. Now, no aprons under here because this is going to get tile backsplash. More to talk about with the tile, probably in another video. So here's the next piece of awesomeness that has gone back. This is the original window that we found, and based, you notice the 6/9, 6/9, the dimensions of the glass, at least, the thickness of everything is different based on, the function of the window, and it's a new window. It's not 200 years old. But the glass is basically identical to, actually you can see the replacement right through. So that's super cool. It even functions. So the little spring latch thing could use some sanding, I guess. But you can see it snaps in, and this will be functional. It'll go up and down. I got to put the glass in, you can see. But that'll be the wavy glass, original wavy glass. Or I don't know if the glass is original, probably lots of it is not, but. And then we got another old great door. This was the door, of course, that always sat exactly right here, facing south, taking that awesome patina on. And we were just gonna hang it on the wall, but it really doesn't stick out that much. And we kind of got to the point where we had to make the decision and said, why not? Why not have this awesome door be able to close? We'll get all the original hardware back on there. And if, it's allowed and we're hanging out and football Sunday on, we can kind of close it off. Or the kids are watching a movie and the parents are hanging out somewhere else. It's not the worst thing to be able to kind of close off your noisiest room in the house, which this is likely to be. So you can see the painter through the window. I'll try to keep him out of frame. But all the trim in here, all the trim out here matches the exterior of the house. Just about. This I think is a little wider just because we had to make it work with the different windows. So there's an extra step in here, but there was nothing we could do about that. The sill is the same. This molding is the same. That is the same reveal all the way around. It's just this white piece is a little, is an extra because, well, this is a double hung and those aren't, and the thickness of the frame, the window frame itself was different. But these big guys are done, except for the apron there, which is really gonna be more like almost a threshold. And actually we've saved a number of thresholds from the original house and floors. I'm gonna try to plug them in each of these locations. So those will get done after the floors go in. But they're all set and ready to go. Beautiful windows here, and this is where my new TV goes. I'll be excited for that. That's the update in here. It just like this whole room feels super cozy and warm. I can't wait to be spending a lot of time in here, getting a couple of sofas going and some comfy chairs probably over here by the big windows, and just hanging out a lot in this space. Front rooms kind of covered up, but mantels are mounted. They look great. There's definitely some twist, you know, it's old. This side is kind of ramps up a little bit, and by the time you get to the other side, it's actually fallen off. So there's nothing we're gonna do about that. That's the charm of having a piece that's 200 years old in your house. Now we reused everything we could for original wainscoting. We wrapped the wainscoting, which I don't believe it did previously. It stopped on this edge, so it terminated. We felt like that returning and finishing, because otherwise they'd be like, you know, this is all going to get painted the same color, this kind of the window color here. It's that creamy color. So it would be weird if it just stopped and didn't get painted that color for one little piece of it. So we decided to finish that out. So that's a small change we made there. And we ran out of the right lengths, I would say. We didn't run out, but we didn't really have the right lengths, and we didn't want to scarf too many joints into the wainscoting. So we ended up just using some plywood here, and there's one more spot in the other room that we did. And we did have to scarf this back wall because the position of that door changed a little bit. It was further out here, so the board that we had just came up short by like a foot. So we scarfed it. You could just see the line there, and once it's all painted out, you won't. Plus, we strategically located that. We're definitely going to have some kind of like banquette or something right here on the wall, and so that'll be covered up all the time. Anyway, so that is the plan. You've seen the doors in previous videos. This is still happening. So drama there still going on, but same thing in here. So you can see we used some from the dining room in here, some from the living room originally, and actually that board there is from the kitchen, I think, but that's from here. You can see the green over there. These were from this room, but it was easier, and rather than stripping the paint or sanding it, it was easier to flip it over and plane it, and that's what I did there, and a couple other places. What was it, around the corner here? Yeah, and I think the other side as well. If you are observant, you might notice in certain places that there's like extra holes and things. They have to get patched. Some of them are outlet boxes, so that's fine, but others will need to get patched. I think there's a patch right behind all that stuff that'll need to get done. And I'm just gonna do that in place. I got a templating router, and I'll buzz that out and plug in a block, sand it all smooth, and it'll disappear before paint. Yeah, mantles in here, looking great. And yeah, that is our big news. Now they've moved upstairs. There's more doors and things. Ooh, little preview. Yes, the tile is happening. That's who you heard buzzing away upstairs there. but that'll be a different video. I'll wait until they're gone to take a look. But tiles happening in here, in the laundry room. All these bathroom tub surround is almost done, and they're prepped on the 3rd floor bathroom as well. So lots of tile happening. You can see backer board, some kind of mortar or thinset or something. We're using this orange, what's it called? The Ditra. It's like a uncoupling agent, or basically it makes it so bounces and vibrations in the house do not transmit to the tile and crack tile or crack grout out. Makes everything much more stable in the long run. So with our 2-foot on center joist spacing, even with a thicker subfloor, we don't want it to get too bouncy. So that is supposed to do the job for us. So we got that in all the places that it's going on the floor, and we've got this waterproof membrane going up on all the shower walls. And that'll be another video. Anyway, you can see down the hallway, you see all the trim. It's getting to the exciting stuff now. But unfortunately, all these doors have to come back off to get cleaned up, primed and painted, and then go back in. So there's a lot of work to do. Plus, I've got about a dozen doors still to do for the 2nd and 3rd floors. So that's what I'm off to complete now. I will share a funny story. We've had a bear here twice in the last couple of weeks. He's come right out from the corner of the woods there. And there's usually water running. It's been so dry we don't have water running, but we do have a spring in the back. So I think he's been getting water. We saw a couple of bucks up in the field. I don't know, I couldn't see how many points, but they were pretty good sized. Hunting season is about to start, so good luck to them. Anyway, hope you're doing well, and stay tuned because more videos to come.